In a day and age where information is spread in a nanosecond,
we are setting out to discover the uniqueness of our guests through the lost art of conversation,
140-degree temperatures, and robes.
This episode of Don't Sweat the Small Stuff is sponsored by JNH Lifestyles.
Take advantage of one of their home infrared saunas and experience the many benefits that thousands of people across the United States are praising.
Regular sessions in an infrared sauna will aid you in almost all areas of your life.
Start your joyful, natural, and healthy lifestyle today with JNH Lifestyles.
We robe up with Native American actor Jeremiah Bitsui, A.K.A. Victor of Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. But that's not all Jeremiah is known for.
Breaking Bad fans will recognize our location as the place Jesse and Walter cooked up their signature blue meth.
And we're hoping to cook up a good conversation with Jeremiah Bitsui. I'm Dex.
And I'm Steve-O. And this is Don't Sweat the Small Stuff.
Thanks for doing this.
Sorry, this is great.
This is crazy, right?
This is wonderful.
Yeah,
This is
so,
wonderful.
okay. Better Call Saul is, what are we into? What season are we at?
Three?
Third season
Four?
of Better Call Saul, right?
Yeah.
17.
17, yeah.
Yeah, 17 seasons.
Of course, Victor, you played Victor in Breaking Bad.
No kidding.
And you were killed. The killing scene, the box cutter scene was probably one of the most iconic, scenes from Breaking Bad. When you think about Breaking Bad, I think about that death was insane, right?
Yeah.
What was that like afterwards? After that aired, I'm sure that was what everybody talked about, right?
What was, I was telling, we were talking before a little bit about how in the beginning, how this all started, and honestly, it was never expected this.
Yeah.
My agent at the time, it was the way she described it was a horrible way to describe it, because it wasn't a good. She pitched it I'm known to pitch to, but she said it like it was like a cable show, like a public access show, and far from it. But in our first and second season, we never even. It was still finding its place.
Yeah.
And then by 3, we were we knew we were on some crazy ship going somewhere, and then and so watching through that season and then hearing all the rumors, because I heard a lot of rumors from crew, everyone talks, and you hear all this crazy stuff of what the next season's gonna be like.
Yeah.
And then I get a call, and it was one of the producers, Michelle McLaren, and she calls me and says, Jeremiah, we love everything you're doing on the show. Keep it going. She's like, it's going great. She's like, we're excited for this new season. She's like, as you know, you're gonna be a big part of what we're doing, and we're gonna start this off with a big bang. Unfortunately, you're the big bang.
Oh, man.
And I promised myself I wouldn't cry. but it was
It's so emotional.
But it was
talking
amazing.
about
No, seriously,
when I found out, I read it and I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah,
and
I mean, this show, now considered one of, when people talk about the greatest television series of all time, that's in the conversation of possibly the greatest show of all time. So you get that call and find out, oh, dang, I'm getting killed off. What was it like for you processing that the next 24 hours or so?
I mean, I knew I was gonna die at some point.
Yeah.
Because the funny thing is, beginning of season 3, I had no idea I was gonna be in season 3.
Yeah.
We were talking about it, and my character in season 2 was nondescript customer, and season 3, I got a call and they said. My agent was like, we don't know a lot still about what's going on. I'm like, what's going on with this?
Right.
And she's like, all I could say is it's the show, and they're going to disclose all the details once you get to set.
Wow.
I'm like, okay. And it was Aaron Paul that actually came up to me and was like, hey man, congratulations. He's like, this is it. You're your character now, and we're gonna kick off a crazy season. And I was just
man.
I didn't, and then it was just pins and needles from that point. A lot of the catering guys who I'm still great friends with, the crew who I'm still great friends with, and a lot of us have stuck together 10 years now. And they'd be, dead man walking. This is middle of season 5 and 3, and I'm just and they'd be like, man, you're really making a meal out of this one, huh? And I'm like, yeah. And my meal ended on that one in first season of season 4. So it never expected it though. It was the last season. I watched in a different city, and then the the icing on the cake was watching it in LA. You know,
Yeah.
with the whole crew and everybody.
Absolutely.
Well, now, you know, Better Call Saul, you're like a huge part of it. Like this last season, like is like you're in almost most of the episodes, right?
And they put me into a great deal of it, and it's cool because they're including Gus's backstory. And everything, so it's kind of cool, you know.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts when they first announced, like, hey, we're going back to the well, like we're gonna do Better Call Saul, because Breaking Bad was so amazing. When you first heard that, I mean, your involvement aside, like, were you excited they were going back to it, or were you like, oh, what? They're gonna do it? What? A spinoff?
I think the hard part for me was processing. I was like, okay, we're all almost 10 years older.
Yeah.
But this is almost 10 years prior.
Yeah.
And I was like, we all have to try to freshen up a little bit.
Yeah.
It's I guess it was exciting, but my logical side was thinking that. My creative side was just thinking, you know, Vince is just so amazing at creating these and so you just have that trust.
They do such a great job of like using everything that this city has, you know, from the street names to the restaurants. I mean, they don't change anything. They like bring it to life, you know? And so if you live here and you're from Albuquerque, you're like, holy cow, man, this is amazing. And it just draws you even more into, you know, like being a part of it. I've never had that experience with any other show before.
Yeah, completely. I mean, I think growing up here and then seeing that and then being able to relate, you know, because I lived in LA for 15 years, traveled for a good piece of the last 7 years, and going to other countries and realizing that everyone, like, they know where you're from.
Right.
It's weird because, you know, it's like you talk about like where you grew up, where you're from. It's a natural conversation starter, and people just know.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, Breaking Bad.
Yup. Oh man. I mean, that wasn't the beginning of your acting world, though. I was looking on the internet, you know, where you find everything you want to know about a human being, realistically.
Yeah, he's just cleaning his nails with a box cutter.
Oh, how does that make you feel?
No big deal.
Do you get nervous around box cutters, or?
Sorry about that. Had something stuck in my
I'm just gonna keep my hand right.
No, I don't want to use it.
No, but fans sometimes they'll come up and be like,
"Whoa,
can I get a photo?"
Oh my gosh,
No
seriously,
way.
with like the layout and everything.
Oh my gosh. No, but seriously, can we get a photo with the box cutter?
Amazing,
dude. You're interrupting my flow, man.
This is
I have a
actually
real question.
the box cutter that killed Victor.
No, that is
In
not.
Breaking Bad.
That is not.
There's still blood all over it.
Yeah, it's red.
I'm willing. You get that a lot. People wanting to like sign box cutters.
Yeah, like people come up with box cutters. People
Sign my box cutter.
Sign my baby. Sign my box cutter.
Looking at the interwebs and you know, what it says about you online. One of the first things I noticed actually was a pretty intense movie, Natural Born Killers.
Yeah.
So you got to be a part of that film. Have you seen it yet? Because you were a child and you weren't allowed to.
How old were
I have
you?
not seen it. So I'm still not old enough.
No one is old
For
enough
real.
to see it. No, seriously, I saw that and I'm going, dang, dude, that's a gnarly experience at such a young age. What was it like? What, you know,
What
for
are your
you
parents
in
like
that
that
process?
they allowed you to be a part of that movie?
No, I was 13, and I'm trying to think through the process, but you know, had several auditions. And still back then, one of my favorite movies was Deer Hunter, and another of my favorite movies was Born on the 4th of July. That was the other one.
Yeah,
and
Oliver Stone,
and
of
so
course. Yeah.
I knew the work, and you know, I knew just how big he was and what it sounded like, what the project was going to be.
Yeah.
And met Oliver Stone, you know, in the audition,
man.
and it was just it was pretty amazing, and then just spent the summer with them filming right before I think I was going into like 8th grade or something.
Did you go like to the premiere? How did you experience that film? Like, were you stoked as an 8th grader, or like, oh my God, what is this?
It was sorry.
Getting
No,
choked
you're
up,
good, man.
guys.
It's
Getting
hot.
choked up. I told you were gonna cry, man.
140 degrees
Told him
right
I was gonna
now.
make him cry.
Yep. Hey, man, don't sweat the small. All right, it's okay, man. Okay, man. He signed the waiver, right?
Yeah.
You good? All right.
But right before that, we shot the show. I spent a lot of time with them, and then throughout the summer, became good friends with Woody, good friends with Juliette Lewis, and then by the time we ended, I was emotional. It felt like this was. I don't know. I felt blessed at such a young age to kind of know. And I felt it, it was special to know that it was something I was going to do for the rest of my life. And I was connected with all these people, and I realized this is my work environment. This is what I like to do. And so when it premiered in LA, there was no other film like it. We were getting crazy reviews, and so but my uncle's actually Russell Means, and so we had a great chance to just kind of bond through the process. And it was crazy, amazing.
Anything else going on? You mentioned you were doing was it a video game or?
Yeah, a video game called Red Redemption 2.
What?
Never heard of it.
Shut up.
Yeah, dude, one of the greatest,
wait.
greatest
I'm
games
sorry.
ever.
Why did we waste time talking about movies, bro?
We need another 30 minutes.
Oh my god.
Another 30.
So
Red Dead Redemption 2?
Yeah, and so by now you probably the game's out, and you've probably heard my voice and seeing the guy that looks a lot like me, and so I play.
What's the character
named Eagle Flies.
Oh wow, that game is.
I'm like blown away. I'm like freaking Breaking Bad and everything else. You're what? What?
It's
cool
amazing
that you're gonna get us free copies. I'm so happy about that. That's my favorite part of the interview.
Yeah, can you hook us up with your agent? I feel like he's got a pretty good agent. I mean,
Dude, I got one last big question because I feel like we spend a lot of time talking successes and film and this video game and all of these amazing things. But what was the time in your life, or has there been a time in your life where it was like, this is a failure?
In my teenage years, I mean, I was lost there for a while, and just growing up in Albuquerque at that time with friends like I had, and I guess I'd lost friends. A lot of the stuff that I think kind of oddly goes, like I said, life imitates art.
Yeah.
There's the character background of that work that I can kind of identify with. And I think it was that past, and I graduated from high school, thank God. You know? But there was a point where it was just really, it was iffy, and I didn't know exactly what my life was going to be. A friend that I lost, his mom came to my graduation party, and it was the biggest failure, but it was the biggest motivator at the same time. And I would have been with him if I'd been back on the res and not, spending my later high school and middle school years out here. They died in a car accident. They were out partying, and she came, and when she spoke, I broke down. And she just said, she called me son. She said, son, you've been blessed. And she's like, my son's not here. Your best friend is no longer here. But she's like, you graduating is like me seeing him graduate. And she's like, when you have whatever it is in life and becomes your career, I'll be there. And she says, and whenever you get married, hopefully I'll be there as well. And whenever you make these milestones, I'm celebrating them with you, and you're giving me the luxury and the experience as like if I was seeing my own son be able to see that. And that just, it moved me and really kind of motivated me to change, and motivated me to move to LA and pursue the career and give it my best shot.
That's incredible.
That's so cool.
Man.
Jeremiah, dude, thank you so much, dude, for doing this.
Dude,
this was
right?
amazing, man. This
We
was so
somehow
great.
did
This
it.
is great.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah, this is wonderful.
So now are we grafted into the vine because we survived this thing?
Grafted into the vine.
We grafted into the vine of life.
Yes.
Mm.
Well,
We did it.
we survived.
Now we have to sing the theme song. Jeremiah, you start. You know it so well. You watch this show so much.
When the times have
Come to an end.
yeah.
In the
In
sweat.
the sweat
is from your eyes. Don't sweat the small stuff.
Wow.
We're really gonna have to come up with an ending. Dang. Yeah. We'll get it.
Jeremiah Bitsui,
You guys are
everybody.
great.
Yeah,
Thank you,
dude.
man.
Thanks.
This is awesome. This is awesome.
Hey, thanks for watching DSTSS.
What?
What's that stand for?
Don't sweat the small stuff.
Make sure you guys subscribe and check out all of the other sweet videos that we put together for you guys every week. They're pretty awesome, right?
Yeah, they are pretty good.
Yeah.
Also, big shout out to JNH Lifestyles for this sweet sauna. And if you'd like to get your own sauna, click the link. You're going to get a discount code for anything you purchase from them.
Just put in DSTSS. That's DSTSS.
Don't sweat the small stuff. That's right. And speaking of don't sweat the small stuff, if you're jonesing for more, here's a sneak peek at next week's episode.
Because of Infidel, I got commissioned to do a promotional piece for Bird Box, and the whole premise was to do an illustration of worst fear.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we were technically supposed to do like what we consider our own worst fear, but I kind of went there myself.
Yeah.
Let's bring this really down into a very dark place right now and say like I did mine on brain cancer because my father died of brain cancer 4.5 years ago.